Welcome, Black people of the royal bloodline. Welcome back to the Hoodoo Heritage Spiritual Collective. We about to just get into it. I'm just freestyling some of the downloads that I've been receiving. I've really made a shift, like within myself, and making a recommitment to myself and to our people, to our ancestors. Hoodoo Heritage Month came right on time for me. It just helped me get focused on who I am and dive deeper into it. And I'm starting to have such an appreciation for our ancestors here in America and everything they endured to build America and be here, so that live so that we could have our life that we have now today. Okay, I'm really starting to see, like, wow, they are some like amazing resilient people, especially you know all of those of us who had some level of privilege, who grew up with some money. Okay, if you had the opportunity to go to college, if you drive a car, if you got a home, okay, if you have any level of success, whatever your personal success is, like, wow. Because we used to be in chains, and that's been really hitting me lately. It's like, today I saw a clip that said that our ancestors, as little babies, it was feeding them out of the pig troughs, just giving them a little mush sloth as if they were animals. And, you know, that was no reflection on us. Okay, it was a reflection on the lengths that our oppressor, the colonizer, went to dehumanize us. Because even for themselves and even for their counterparts, they wanted to rape, they wanted to steal, they wanted to kill, they wanted to force labor. And they had to put it in their mindset like that it was okay. So they had to remove the humanity for themselves. They had to pretend that we weren't human even for themselves. And so that was never a reflection on us. It wasn't like we were acting like animals. We were more civilized than them. And it's crazy because we've always heard that story. We've always heard that story like, we taught them how to bathe. And it's like, it was confusing growing up. I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 88. Okay, so that's my era. And it just was confusing because the information was conflicting. It was like, I literally had a teacher tell me that in geography class, 10th grade geography, we were talking about Egypt. And I was like, oh, they were like, Egypt is this, Egypt is that. And I'm like, oh, Egypt's in Africa. Okay. And I was like, wow, Egypt's in Africa? Like African people? Because you remember we're African Americans. So of course I'm like, oh, Africa got the Egypt? Okay. You know? And my 10th grade teacher, he would not, he like literally was trying to say that Egypt was not a part of Africa, even though I was looking at the map. Okay. So like, that's like the level of, the links and that they went to. It was just confusing, the contradiction. It's like, Egypt is great, but Africa is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's so nice now that now that we have the information, we're able to share information like this. And, the truth just can't be hidden anymore. It's funny because a lot of the comments are saying, prove it. Prove you're the Native American. Prove that you are worthy of life. That's what they're saying in the comments. And it's like, there's been so many lies told about our history. It's like, based on the lies that we have uncovered about American history, that's enough to say, that's the proof right there. It's like, you lied about it. Okay, so whatever we discover on our own as Black people, our history, our ancient history, then That's up for us to decide. You know, we don't need to listen to someone who's a known liar. You know, they like to throw statistics at us. They like to throw whatever, this study, you know, that test at us, right? And say, see, no, there's no way that you ever did anything good for this country, right? The patent says the inventor is Meg Whitey, right? And it's like, but we know they're liars. We know that everything that we invented, they stole. So we don't need their validation. I think that's a amazing place for us to be in, is like no longer needing their validation to say, we're not trying to prove to them. We're just edifying ourselves and moving forward and rebuilding our culture. And, you know, it's something that we can be, I'm getting really proud of us right now, you know, not even just trying to harp on the ancient past of who we were, proud of who we are, who we've become, and the fact that we actually get to choose where we want to go. We get to decide like where we want to take our people from, you know, into the future. I feel like with um, the CK situation, right? First of all, white folks showed their ass. Okay, they immediately showed their ass because there was no reason why there should have been an attack on HBCUs and an uproar of racism just because what's the face got assassinated. He was not assassinated anywhere near our people. He was in his own place talking to his own people, shot by his own folks. So it should have never been a whole like a beginning of a black and white uprising, right? It should have never been that. But they showed where their mindset is, that they like racism. They want a reason, like they want a reason to attack us quickly. Like if we step out of line just a little bit, justified homicide. Okay. So, you know, we have to really consider just how quickly they're willing to persecute us. And it's like when, you know, when somebody's will be like, dang, I can't believe my friend betrayed me. You know, I can't believe they folded on me like that. Well, that's how you know when they never liked you. You know, so I know a lot of people have friends and even family, uh, you know, that are white. Okay. And you just have to know that when it comes down to it, they believe that white is right. You know, unless you have somebody who's pro-black, like, I know, I seen what my people did, I hate it, and you guys are actually better because it's more colorful, you guys have joy, and you guys have the good food, you know, like, unless you got somebody who's like, I really love black culture, and I love it for all that it is, not just the aesthetic, you know, then that's different. But somebody who's just like, well, I think, I don't even see color. Mm-mm. Your friends that don't see color, they don't see you for who you are then. You know what I'm saying? How can they see you for who you are? Because your degree, right? Just to use an example, because I don't even have a degree. So it's like you going to college from coming from whatever marginalization that you faced in your childhood, and graduating, that's a whole different story from, you know, your college, your dorm mate, right? Completely different scenario. So it's like your accomplishment getting a college degree as a black person is, it took more. And for people who are saying, oh, I don't see color, they're not acknowledging the fact that you actually had to overcome a bunch of stumbling blocks to achieve this same goal. You know, whereas somebody else was already just issued into it. And that's not to say that other people don't have issues, but that's not what we're here for, right? We're talking about us, and we need to protect ourselves, okay? Because even when it comes to the other nations, the Mexicans, the Asians, they do not support us. Okay? I don't care about your friends, because when it comes down to it, they're going to go protect their family. Okay? And Black people, I love this about us, you know, but we're going to have to figure out how to be about us, you know, because we'll be the first one to sacrifice ourselves for someone else. And as noble as it is, we deserve that. We need to do that for ourselves. We need to love ourselves more than we love others, okay? We need to put ourselves first and fill our own cup. And I don't mean that in a negative way, like love yourself more than others. I mean that more like we need to really love ourselves, like we are worth preserving, we are worth saving, we are worth protecting, we are worth sacrificing for. You know what I'm saying? We need to really like get that. Another download. It'll come back. I'm not gonna force it. It was like right here. I should, but it'll come back because it was really important. It was related to what I was just saying. So yeah, we just need to fill up our own cups. Okay, oh, now I remember. So one thing that we have to be aware of in building our unity, right? Rebuilding our community so that we're so we can support each other and so we can actually qualify as a nation of people. A lot of times when we had organizations, we would get sold out by our own, right? So they send in an FBI informant, pay a dude, come and fuck us up, you know, tell secrets or start conflicts, okay? So that's basically something that happened ever since they desegregated us. They started infiltrating us. Even like welfare system was an infiltration. CPS was an infiltration, okay? And anytime we had organizations, there's always some freaking coon in the camp. And so it's like, how do we deal with that? How do we know who to trust? That's why it all begins with the inner work, okay? When you can trust yourself, okay, and you build up your own discernment, and you have your own principles and values so that you're standing on something so that you can't just be tricked, okay? You can't be led astray because you've done the work on yourself. You eat well, you take time to meditate, you pray daily, you know what I'm saying? And so we all group up and we're like, man, we finna do this, okay, this your job, that's your job, okay, yeah, da-da-da, right? And then here comes FBI agent sitting at the table like, yeah, guys, right? It's like those of us who are doing the work on ourselves, we're gonna peep the energy, you know? It's gonna be something. It's going to be something. Or, you know, when somebody starts putting a bug in their ear, like, you really like the leader? Man, don't you think, what if they try to take over? You know, they always feel like they got the answer. Why should we listen to them, right? This is the FBI agent talking. And brother man, right, is going to be like, first of all, like, they're not going to accept that type of gossip because they're so committed to themselves. Like, their commitment to the community is from the overflow of what they do for themselves. So it's just like, hey, I don't want you messing up my energy. I've made a commitment to this situation, so I am going to continue in my commitment to this situation. You know what I mean? So that is one way that we can move forward fearlessly, coming together, is that if we are committed to doing the work on ourselves to better ourselves individually, then when we come together, we don't have to, we're interdependent and not codependent. You know what I mean? So it's like we can be interdependent, like, this is your job, this is my job, da 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 da, right? As opposed to like having an energy like, this, I don't have anything else to live for, or I need this so bad, or, you know, it's like we all as individuals know that we have a divine purpose, and that anybody that comes collective to help is contributing to the divine purpose. So we can move forward fearlessly because we know that we are in alignment, as opposed to not, you know, being more fragile. And for those of us who are chosen to be first, to lead, to organize, you know, be ready to put that work in, and like by yourself. Be ready to spend your own money. You know, be ready to open up your doors. You know, it's about helping others. You know, one thing about getting Black people together, it's like we're going to have to show them that we can be a source of support. That if they put their money with ours, or, you know, their minds with ours, that it's something collective, that we're building something that they can lean on, you know? So we are going to have to give, you know, and that brings it back into, so focus on yourself. If you don't have it to give, understandable, right? Whether that's time, energy, or money. But so work on yourself. Get to a place where it's like, okay, I can carve out a little bit of time. You know, I've worked on my energy. I think I can do once a week, you know, whether that's creating content or doing something in the physical, you know, or making a commitment to, for something financial when it comes to that point. You know, just working on yourself so that you can show up your best. That's another thing that I have been feeling too, is a desire to really like show up as my best. And I really feel like that has a lot to do with our high standards. You know what I mean? Is that, you know, you should look good and know what you're talking about, because ain't nobody got time to waste. Okay? Let's get to the point. You know what I mean? Let's see, what is this even about? You know what I mean? It's like really important for us to take ourselves seriously. You know, take ourselves seriously, and what we want to offer the people. I feel like, you know, if you're 30 and up, it's your duty to contribute something to your people. Because especially now, especially where they want to erase history and change things, we need to make sure that we create so much content, write so many books, and make a name and create so many organizations to where we can't be forgotten. We don't need to fade into the background of the American melting pot. We are the foundation of this United States. Okay, we built this with our blood, our sweat, and our tears. Other people can say, oh, we work too. Listen, our blood, sweat, and tears is in this soil. Okay? And we'll be damned if it just falls by the wayside. We'll be damned if we let somebody who didn't even put that level of passion and pain into building what we have tell the story of who did. Okay, so we really need to be a voice. Everybody who has a voice needs to start using it. Okay, in whatever, by voice, it could be written communication, video communication, whatever. It needs to come out. It needs to be shared so that our children have something. You know, it's really important for us to build something for them to not only have, like, as far as land and not having to slave every day of their life just to keep a roof over their head, right? You know, because it's one thing to work for the things that you want, right? Or for the extras. But in regards to like food and shelter, that grows from the ground. And as indigenous people, like as people in general, everybody has a right to experience this planet. Nobody should be having to pay just to live. Like, I don't know. Not this much anyways. It should not cost you everything just to survive. Okay. It should not cost a base of $2,000 a month. A minimum $2,000 a month just to have a home. All praises to the Most High Power. We are grateful. Compassion. Okay. So yeah, we do need to have a compassion as world leaders. Okay. Because that's what we are as a people. We are the world leaders. When I move, they move. When we move, they move. Okay. We need to have compassion for the less fortunate. And by less fortunate, I kind of mean those who are more ignorant and those who have not spiritually ascended. Having compassion for them in their ignorance is kind of, and I don't know why it looks like it's like banana peels on him. Or maybe those are vines. Like he's been meditating for a long time. As much as it's just like, there's this energy of, yeah, tables have turned, baby. Black people finna get their shit back. God's finna fuck them up, And I will say that, like, as I'm been transmuting energy and receiving messages, it's like ultimately we are held to a really high standard in the spirit. And as much as it's like, yes, we do deserve, like allowing vengeance to be the Lord's vengeance. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to meddle in that. Staying in that high vibrational energy. Okay? So I was saying before how, we need to learn how to stop being so friendly. You know what I'm saying? But Spirit has kind of been saying, it's like, don't lose that about yourselves. Like, we don't have to lose that about ourselves. The love that we offer the world once we're good, And that's why the Most High is going to hand it to us, because it's like, once we're good, we're comfortable, we have so much to offer the world. It's been overflowing in our oppression. Like I said, nearly every single thing invented, okay, that we use today that makes our lives easier was invented by a Black American, okay? Not just a Black person, but a Black American, okay? The internet was created by a Black American, okay? I don't give a fuck who was head of the project. The person who had the science was a Black American. And I damn near think she was female, okay? I think it may have been a couple of people, but I do recall that. So we're continuing to have compassion for ourselves, first and foremost, and others. Crystal technology. Okay, so this is connecting back with nature. So working in the spirit. Yeah, working in the spirit. Going within, working. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing with this energy here. We're being called to war spiritually. Okay, we don't have to go outside. Okay, it wouldn't be safe for us anyways. But what we can do is use the power of manifestation, visualizing what the world that we want to see, the world we want to live in, the things that we want to experience, the things we want to create, okay? Calling on nature spirits to assist us in making that happen, okay? Using different energetic forces to amplify what we're doing. So putting that hoodoo on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, like, you can even make yourself a tea. This is my beauty tea. This is my black power tea. You know what I'm saying? Just setting some intentions. I just got some weird message. The message was an email. It said, Trump ignores MAGA black women. That's what it said. Just right now. I don't read most of my emails. But that one I might go and see what the hell were they talking about. But of course he does, you know. That man's a fraud anyways. Like, I don't even consider him a politician. He's just an actor. Solitude. So yeah, within yourself. So spirit, that, okay, what we're doing by pulling our energy back and not getting all, not getting into the streets, trying to protest, march, organize anything like that, or do anything that's outside of our routine. Okay, because it's not even like, oh, we need to meet once a week so we could get to know each other. No, we need to get to know ourselves, and we need to set some intentions so that we ultimately will start aligning with the people that we are most compatible with, you know, because it's like, it's okay if we don't all think the same, you know. Just because we have the same ancestors, we all have different life experiences. We came from different regions, and spiritually, we might just be in different places. We don't have to all believe the same thing. That's the beautiful thing, is that, you know, we have a lot of diversity within our community. And so that's why doing the inner work, you're going to start calling in people who are like-minded like you. And you guys can edify and empower each other. And so for you guys who are either in that sector, whether it's regionally or just mindset, right? Everybody's got their little group of mindset. No need to fight about it. The whole point is that we want to move forward. So if you're in the spiritual hype, do the spiritual stuff. If you're the law-making hype, do the law-making stuff. You know what I mean? Being your true authentic self. We're called to be our true authentic self. So some of us may have had to been working so much that you don't even know who that is. And so, yeah, take this time. It's I want to say take the time to rest, but I don't feel like it's not the energy of rest, like go to sleep. It's like be by yourself and conjure and cultivate energy. Like, I don't know, I'm not getting like, you just need to rest, you just need to relax. Like, this is more like study. So yeah, right now we need to just kind of take the time to study and, you know, get to know, get more familiar with the subjects that are most important to us. Grace, okay? This energy is, because look, he's got like one arm, one leg, right? So I always really feel like God's grace, like yes, he's got like, you know, he's missing some limbs, but he's still making it. He's still surviving, and he still has this crown on his head. So yeah, getting, even after everything, you know, even if you may have committed crimes or hurt people, had just a badass mindset, you know, it's like once that crown chakra get activated, you're still going to align. Like, it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what you've lost. Okay? You still are wearing this crown here. Crown chakra. You still, like, despite everything, you still figured out who you are. Transcend. Initiation. So yeah, we're being initiated into, I feel like we're getting lots of downloads. Our gifts are being activated. Look at this energy. Now this is almost giving me like, okay, almost giving me like alien abduction. Okay, but it's like, even this, even though she's quiet and calm, I still don't feel like this is a relax. You know, so even though you might be being still, you might be being called to just, it's like you're not going to sleep. You're learning, you're growing, you're receiving. So you're being upgraded. I heard your DNA is being upgraded. Okay, let's just do one more, and then I'm going to come back. Hey, and thank you guys so much for being here. Let's see, last card. I'll pray this is most high power. Starseed. Hey, you're here for a reason for sure. You're a starseed. Okay, you are like, and it's giving me like the Pleiadians and the Venus people, and you know, the different star groups or whatever. So the, you know, I just feel like the Intergalactic Federation just stepped in. Like, this is so much bigger than, I'm hearing it's bigger than black people. Like, it's bigger than just like black liberation. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is world help. This is world aid. This is essential to help the world energy, you know? Okay, there's an imbalance in the cosmos and we must save Earth type energy that's coming through on that, and that we are being initiated into some sort of occultic, something occultic. So maybe that's just our gifts, you know, that seeing ability. But ultimately, everything is being done through the heart chakra. So learning to manifest through the heart chakra. And so I'll probably do another video on more in depth about this. But like when you're doing your hoodoo and you want to set some intentions, right? Especially for those of you who are having to transmute a lot of ancestral rage and pain that comes up, whether you see it, it gets triggered on the internet or just your thoughts, whatever. You know, there's nothing wrong with you doing some work, okay? You just want to make sure with this compassion energy that you're doing it through the heart chakra. So a no-no spell would be I want America to burn. That's a no-no. That, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put my intention to that. You know, you might in your mind being like, you know, all for everything that my ancestors went through, all white people should be destroyed, right? You might have a thought like that. But check this out. We are a multicultural people, okay? So you might be you know, you're saying all white people, all people considered white. Well, those white people, whether they know it or not, got some Negro in them just by default. You know, there was plenty of us who um, who were mixed race and then mixed into the white side. But that doesn't mean we don't have a common ancestor. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to be like, man, fuck Susie Bell, you know, and Susie Bell and you got a common ancestor. So now we got to weigh this shit out. You know, now in the cosmos, the spiritual realm, they got to weigh out who they going to support. And you just never know. Okay, here's a better way to say it. You don't know who you talking about these days. You don't know who's divine. You don't know who's anointed. You don't know who's the starseed. You don't know who is like, you know, the angel that needs help and they look homeless, right? You think somebody's a nobody, but they're God's somebody, right? We don't know who those people are. So the best course of action is not to direct any person or group of people directly. But what you can do, okay, is anyone who tries to hurt me, any plans against the Black community or myself, immediately backfires. Now that's something you can put into your energy, like, dear God, if anybody is plotting against me and my people and our progression, may it backfire in their face. May it blow up in their face, right? Now you could put energy into that and it'll hit the exact target. Anybody who's planning to stop the progression of me and my people, okay? May it backfire in their face. You might, I like to put a little clause in my manifestations too. Can I have this, God, in the highest good of all? Okay? So, anybody trying to stop the plans for the highest good of all, may it backfire in their face. Okay? That's how you make you a nice, clean spell. Okay? No karmic debt. You know what I'm saying? And lots of power because you deserve protection. People deserve protection. Highest good of all, that's the whole everyone. Okay? So now we might say, you know, give us our land back in the highest good of all, right? And then a lot of people DIE so that we can have our land back because it's for the highest good of all. So, you know what I'm saying? Let the spirit decide who goes and who stays. Okay? And we never know our day or time. Okay? So don't be like Chezzy Chaz speaking negativity over yourself. I actually learned a valuable lesson about how he said, oh, I think assassinations need to happen, because I kind of have that attitude sometimes, like, shit, it's war, people gonna die, shit, somebody gonna have to die. Sometimes that's how I feel about it, right? But ever since that happened, I really put the halt on having that attitude, because it's like, I want for you what I want for myself. You keep saying, gotta die, gotta die, gotta die. Well, shit, bitch, it could be you. Okay? Whatever you put out, you're going to receive. So you want to make sure that whatever you're putting out is for the highest good of all. If you put just the clause for the highest good of all, you give it to God to sort out what's going to happen to who. Yes, there are real ass enemies that need to get laid to rest. You know what I'm saying? But it is not, we don't need that karma. Okay? And also knowing that we are on the right side of history. Okay? So you can feel confident. That should give you a sense of fearlessness as you go forward in taking care of yourself, revitalizing yourself, launching things that you feel are important for the new world, right? You are on the right side. Our people have created a lot of good karma because we did everything the right way. The fact that we got fucked up by the drug industry, we didn't create the drug industry. Okay? Um, ooh, another download I wanted to say, and I'm about to go. And I want to do better for us by having my stuff more organized so we can get to the points more quickly, and you can know what you're going to get when you get here, because I know your time is valuable. You know, so one thing about it is that I want to improve myself. Or one thing I love about us is I feel this sense of wanting to do better, and not in a competitive way, but just wanting to show up as my best, because damn it, we deserve the fucking best. We deserve somebody to truly invest in our health, our healing, you know, spiritual, mental, physical, financial. We really deserve that. And instead, like at 37, I can't just keep looking, well, who else? Who gonna do it? Who gonna start the program? Bitch, me. Okay? Working 2 jobs with 4 kids. Okay? Single parenting. I gotta do it. Tired as hell. I still need to show up, and I need to show up better, because my people are worth it. And because our ancestors, they would have taken the opportunities that we have today and ran with it. Freedom of speech? They didn't have none of that. Media output? Imagine if MLK and Malcolm X had social media. They would have used it. Okay? So, and you know, when it comes to like reading and stuff, and I've been saying this to my kids, now, because we got the ancestors activated in my house. I didn't got their pictures up. I didn't set up their altars. They're like all personalized, like, you know, so I didn't got them activated up in here. So I've been saying to my kids, like, we need to take the time to read every day, because our ancestors weren't allowed to. It was illegal for us to read. So that's how important reading is that it's illegal. So in honor of our ancestors, we're going to take as much intelligence as we can get, because it was literally illegal for us to exercise our brains in that way and to know what shit said, right? Okay, so that last point that I wanted to say. You know how we're venerating our ancestors and we're talking about them, telling their stories, and overall bettering ourselves so that we can say, ancestor, I'm going to take care of my body because you gave me this body, and in a time where I have freedom to take care of my body, so I'm going to do it, right? You know, something that our white counterparts are doing, something that I just kind of seen or noticed, discerned. You know, every time they come into the comment section and they talk that shit, or they hit the laugh emoji on our edification posts about our history and whatever we want for ourselves, right? And every time they come and try to tear us down, what they are doing is they are saying, yes, I agree with my ancestors. See, you know, a lot of times they try to be like, I didn't do it. I was not there. It was not me. So I shouldn't be blamed because I didn't do those things. But every time they say, fuck you, nigger, in the fucking comments, okay, or agree that Chuzzy Chaz was a saint or a martyr or was not a racist, right? Or agree with policies that are harmful, they are saying, yes, I am my ancestor. Yes, I do align. Yes. And they think they're just talking because they know nothing about spirituality other than occult practices and being like setups, illusions, right? They know nothing, okay, about the fact that when they do get wiped out, it's like it was fair. So they're being given an opportunity to say, I denounce that. my ancestor was a lyncher, but I don't believe in that. I think actually I want to atone for the fact that my ancestor was a lynching ass motherfucker, and that's sick. Why would I? Ugh, you know what I'm saying? If they're not getting into that energy, like, that is sickening, and I want to know why and how to get rid of that type of shit from me, because why would you be so inhumane, right? But if they're saying, either trying to deny it, like it wasn't me, or saying, like the brother man or the white dude who said, hang him up high, like it's funny, right? Saying, we should do more of that. Well, baby, when your ass gets removed, that's why. Because you said, ha, okay, to a black person saying, I think I'm going to love myself today. And somebody said, ha, to you. There's, like, they used to hurt, the way they used to hurt us in the past, you know? You know what I'm saying. So, and thank you for your compliments. It was not thousands of years. It was hundreds, okay? It was hundreds of years, okay, in slavery. But it's beyond evil. I was saying earlier today, a video came across, and they were saying how they was feeding us in little pig troughs. Okay, feeding us little mush in pig troughs. And how we would gather around, eat it, you know, and I don't think we would ever do that. I think that even if we did have servants, we would treat them like people. We would give them a bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't treat them like that. You know? In fact, we know that we wouldn't do that, because, to be honest with you, we could have killed them all. We could have not helped them with nothing. We could have not made no treaties with them. We could have said, you got to get the fuck off our land, bitch, now. But instead, our asses is like, hey, yo, you have to take a bath. Hey, yo, let me show you how to till this land, like, so you don't starve. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you how to preserve your food for the winter time. Let me tell you what the best thing to plant during the winter. Let me show you. And we taught them things, and they turned around and stabbed us in the back. Okay? We had treaties. We was like, oh yeah, you guys can set up over there. Yeah, we haven't even fucked with that place over there or whatever. Sure, have that. You know? They dishonored treaties with us. Okay? So, this on them. Whatever the fuck, you know, because I do deliveries, and sometimes, and I be in the country sometimes where the farmers are at. And I think about how they have all this land, and, you know, is it fucked up for me to think that they should give it to my people? Like, this shit needs to be redistributed. How devastating it would be for a modern day person, and for someone to be like, hey, eminent domain, and be like, no, you have to move. Like, this is my shit now. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know? Here's, you get $5, $10, $20. Get out, you know? And I was thinking about, like, damn, that would be fucked up. I have real compassion. Like, well, maybe we got to figure out how we can all kumbaya, right? But honestly, like, if that's what has to happen because of what they did, we had our houses, we had our shit, and they came in and said, I don't give a fuck, all the shit mine, knock it all down, fuck it all up, da-da-da-da-da, don't give a fuck, kick your ass, you know what I'm saying? They didn't give a damn. And so I just feel like that's why we just kind of have to let the universe work that out. We are not being instructed to get our hands dirty. And I even feel like even when it comes down to us having to defend ourselves, I still feel like Spirit is going to keep our hands clean. Like if we have to make a move, it's going to be in direct defense. But what I saw in my mind's eye just now was more of the energy of the walls of Jericho. Like, we're just going to have to march around the damn the block. Like, And that's a beautiful, that like, if we could take that story about energy, right? They had the troops march. God instructed the troops to march around the city, playing their music louder. You know how we get with some music, right? And he said do it like for 7 days or something like that. A little spell, right? And then the walls came tumbling down. And then they were able to go in and do what they had to do. I think they did have to slaughter them. I think they did. Now that I'm thinking about that, right? But it's like they couldn't even get into the fortress because they had walls all around the city, right? So I just feel like it's going to be like that. Like God's going to hand things over to us, and we just need to wait for instruction. So all we need to do is take care of ourselves and love ourselves and continue to edify each other and support each other. Make an effort to show your support to your other your cousin, right? And say good job, smile at each other, show solidarity, but allow Spirit to move through you. Okay? We are being initiated. So many are called, but few are chosen. So if you're hearing the call, answer it, because you're needed. Right? I'm going to go. Peace.